Hey everybody, just a little bit of no one here in Arizona. Just want to do a real quick product review with you. Hey guys, so I got myself in a Infuzium 420 machine. So for those of you who do not know about Infuzium 420 machines, these things are amazing for making oils and butter and honey and different types of alcohol. And you can infuse so many different things with so many different types of herbs, it's not even funny. You know, have you ever gone to a really nice restaurant and the waiter, they end up serving you butter and it's got the herbs already in it and everything is just wonderful? Well, a lot of that stuff gets infused, and one of the ways we do this, now we can do this at home. And I love this product. It has making things so much simpler, especially if you end up using a spicier herb we'll call it broccoli. So if you use that type of an herb, it's amazing because old days, we used to have to take it and break it down and put it in the oven, a little over 200 degrees for several hours to kind of break that force field off of it, to take it and kind of put that A at the end of it, and that way we can cook with it. And so we got to remove that force field, and that's what we used to have to do. Well, one of the problems was the spicy broccoli that we used, it would stink the whole house up. Our neighbors knew that we were messing with spicy broccoli, and we really didn't want that. So those days are over. Nice part is the Infuzium 420, if you get the bundle, which, by the way, everyone, if you go to my Amazon shop, you can get this off of there. Right now it's $2.99 for the bundle. Double check, make sure there's not a flash sale going on, because there might be a flash sale coming up. So double check that. All products that you see here today, also you can get off of my Amazon shop. So with that, let's go ahead and continue. So let's talk about the Infuzium. So when we talked about having to take that force field off, anytime you use any type of an herb and you're going to want to infuse it into anything, a lot of them have these force fields on them. We're going to just call them force fields. So we have to use, the term actually is called decarboxylation, to decarboxylate the herb down. So one of the nice parts about this bundled machine is it does come with just that specific thing. And that's what this here is. So here's the nice thing about this machine, guys. Twist off, quarter turn, twist off. You can see, drop the lid. You can see that it has another lid here. When you pull it up, a tin comes out. This tin is divided into two separate areas. Now, the one thing about this is you can do two different types of herbs if you want to do it at the same time. So let's say you want to do, I don't know, chives and lemongrass, or two different types of spicy herbs, or whatever you choose to do. But you can do up to a total of any kind of herb. You can do up to a total weight of 28 grams in it. So yeah, so you can easily do per side. So that means you can do 28 per side, 56 total. So you can infuse all sorts of different stuff with that once that's done. Nice thing is, once you put that back in there, it comes with another one of these that's not divided in the middle, and that also will hold and contain your herb in here, so that way you don't get that smell throughout. I mean, some people like the smell of certain herbs in their house, like lemongrass or whatever, and whatnot. But if you don't like, say, a spicy herb, you don't like the smell of that because the stigma that comes with it or whatnot, you can use this a separate container to hold that in, and it'll hold that in. So once that's all said and done, you've all ground all of your herbs down, you put them in here, we shut the lid just like such, plug it in, hit the start button, and walk away. 1 hour. 1 hour, that's all it takes. 40 minutes to do the decarboxylation, and then 20 minutes for a cool down period. Highly suggest. Let the full hour go. Just let the process work itself. So when it's all said and done, 1 hour, done. Now, like I said, if you use any other type of herbs or you don't like the smell of certain herbs or anything like that, this is really nice because it doesn't really emit any odor. And any odor that might be there, it has dissipated within an hour. I've cooked with this, or I've decarboxylated with this many times. And I like to use all sorts of different herbs, even spicy herbs. So this is a wonderful thing. So 1 hour and you're all set and ready to go. Now the next thing you do is you want to go ahead and let's go ahead and make oil, and for myself, tonight I'm going to be making some gummies, some edible gummies that I can eat and enjoy in the evening time and just kind of hang out and relax with. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing is I need to make an oil to make these gummies. A lot of gummies from past days used to be made with alcohol. Everclear was one of them that was used, and it was clear. I mean, just completely clear, ever so clear all throughout. So people would use that. And myself, I can't. I've restrained from any type of activity such as that because I have a very sensitive nature to those type of ingredients. So with that, I don't drink whatsoever. So I also don't cook with it as well either. So a lot of gummies that are being made do have alcohol. Now, the ones that are made for like kids and stuff, now the alcohol does cook off. First off, let me throw that out there. The alcohol does cook off. But for kids and stuff, you don't, of course, want to do that. So you want to be able to use and make it to where it's doesn't have the alcohol. Well, you can use coconut oil. Now, there's two different types of coconut oil that's out there. There's a solid coconut oil and there's a liquid coconut oil. Myself, I prefer to use the liquid coconut oil, mainly is because when the gummy sets up, when it solidifies, the solid, it really doesn't compress very well. It's more of a solid bite. It's not that kind of gumminess. I mean, it's kind of gummy, but not really gummy. So I like to use a liquid coconut oil, which I will show you right now that I use. This one here is a Carrington Farms liquid natural coconut oil. So with that tonight, I'm going to be using 5 cups of this. One of the other things that you have to do is when you're making gummies, you're using your gelatin and your Jello, because that's what we're going to be using tonight. You also need to use a thing called lecithin powder. Lecithin powder, sorry. And that takes 1 teaspoon per cup of whatever you're using for the medium, whether it's butter, oil, alcohol, whatever you're using to infuse for your cooking, okay? So with that, you need to make sure you use this, which once again, you can get this off my Amazon store. The other thing that you're going to want to do is, because of the fact that you are cooking and you're going to be making gummies, we're going to be using a gelatin mold, gelatin molds, I should say. So even though they're made of a composite material and it's supposed to not stick, you're using gelatin and Jello. You're combining 2 very sticky substances and you're putting them into one. It will stick to everything. I don't care if it says non-stick. So one of the things that I like to do before I get all set up is I like to make sure I've got a hot pan of water sitting in my sink for all of my utensils, because I am going to be whisking it and I'm going to be using cups to measure and stuff like that. So I want to get that into the hot water immediately so that way I don't have to worry about that mess. The other thing I also suggest for you too is get out a piece of parchment paper about so big, lay it down, put your gummy mold on top of that, and that way any spillover does not go onto your counter or your island or wherever you're pouring your molds onto, whether you're using the dropper or whether you're actually pouring it into a mold. So just a couple tricks of the trade, things that have helped me out with that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the Infuzium 420 and we're going to open her up and we're going to see that it has a spindle on it. Now with this spindle, what happens is the hour process this also takes to infuse the oil, it continually spins, so that way you get good saturation and equal saturation of whatever herb you're using throughout the whole entire oil, butter, or honey, or whatever you're using to infuse. So this makes sure that it does infuse all the way through and it's even. And the nice part is, you know, if you let's say you're using we'll say lemongrass. Let's say you're using lemongrass and you take a bite of one gummy and it's like super lemongrassy, and then the next one really isn't. You're off on there. It's because the concentration wasn't mixed all the way through correctly. So this takes that guesswork out of it. One thing I do have to point out though, guys, this is not dishwasher safe. If you put this in the dishwasher, you just ruined it. You might as well buy it, grab it, throw it in the trash, because you do not want to do that. Hand wash only, and do not get any water right here on the brain. This is the thing that takes care of all the electronics in it. If you fry this, the whole entire machine is dead. So with that, what I'm going to do tonight is pull my cord out, and you can see in here, it's empty, right? But it has a measuring setup in there, and it has a minimum and a maximum on there. And you can use up to 5 cups of whatever medium you're using tonight. Like I said, we're using coconut oil. So with that, I'll put 5 cups of oil in here, and then the herb that I decarboxylated, I'm gonna put that in there, and then I'm gonna turn it on and just let it go for an hour. And when it's all said and done, we'll take a look at it and see what she looks like. One of the things I do have to let you know is I had to use solid coconut oil tonight. I could not use liquid because I didn't have any at the time when I first started making them. So my shipment came in late, unfortunately. So we're going to be able to see why we don't use solid. So good little training tip. So let's take a look at it. So I've already infused my oil, and let me grab that real quick. So I've already infused my oil in here, and this is the oil that I infused. You can see that it's solid. Well, it's solid all the way through, even though that it's already infused. It's solid, and you can see I've used quite a bit of it already. So with this, the herb that I'm using, I've got it calculated out to where I know how much of the herb is going to be in each gummy and stuff like that, so I can know that the taste profile and everything is going to be equal across the whole entire spectrum. And the hippie calories are going to be equal across the entire spectrum as well, if you know what I'm saying. So with that, when everything is said and done, five cups of oil, I'm going to use a total of 28 grams of an herb. You know, like lemongrass or any other herb that's out there, or a spicy herb that I'm using tonight, and get that set up. So 28 grams of that, 5 cups of oil. When you break it all said and down, it comes out to about 52.5 hippie calories per tablespoon. We know that there's about 14 to almost 14.5 tablespoons or teaspoons per tablespoon, or milliliters per tablespoon. So we kind of need to know those numbers when we're calculating out our dosage, as far as how big our mold is, how much is in there, so we know we get equal parts of the infusion in each piece all the way through, if you're following what I'm saying. So with that, we'll get that said and done. So you put that all in together. Now it's time to step up and make the actual gummy itself. So tonight what I did was I took 5 cups of my infused oil, okay? I made that. Now, I'm not gonna use the total 5 cups of oil tonight. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a 1/2 cup of oil, 1 cup of water. I'm gonna use 12 ounces of Jell-O. And if you get the family pack, they're 3-ounce packs, so buy 4 of them. And I'm gonna use 2 ounces of unflavored gelatin. I use Knox unflavored gelatin. The herb that I'm using tonight, I like the taste of it, so I like the unflavored for it. And that's why I use that one. Also, it's one of the better brands that I prefer. So when everything is said and done, and I'll get to a pan, I'll take my 1/2 cup of my infused coconut oil, 1 cup of my water, and I'm going to be whisking it, and I'm going to be getting it down on about medium high. If you're using a gas stove or an electric, usually like right around 5 is a good number to do that. Whisk it all up till you get even all throughout the whole entire thing. Once that's said and done, now you need to add in your 12 ounces of your Jello, which today I used a blue Jello, blueberry it's called. And then you put in your 2 ounces of gelatin, and you have to whisk that. You have to continually whisk that for about 5 to 8 minutes. Continually whisk that. Once again, that's why I also said make sure you've got a pan of hot water in your sink, because when the whisk gets done, you're going to want to immediately put that into the hot water. Because remember, guys, we're messing with gelatin and Jello. Those two sticky substances, man, makes a mess of everything. So once that's all said and done, then you take it to your mold. Now, before your mold, one of the things that I want to make sure you understand, like this is one of the type of molds that I use. This is a 3 milliliter mold per gummy. So kind of things I need to know when I'm calculating out my dosages. What I like to do is I like to use all natural cooking stuff. I don't like to take in processed sugars. I'm actually on a big weight loss journey right now. I started at 256 pounds about almost 4 months ago, and this morning I stepped on the scale at 222. So I'm really working hard at trying not to. So natural cooking spray, that's what I'm going to use. And then I'm just going to spray my mold down real quick. Make sure you do it over a sink though, guys. Don't do it. This is for the gentlemen out there. Don't make your wives crazy, gentlemen, your partner, your girlfriend, whoever it is that is your loved one that you are with. You do this, it hits the floor, makes the floor slippery. They slip and fall. You're going to get it. So make sure you do it over the sink. Trick of the trade. So anyway, so with that, let's go ahead and move this stuff over, and let's take a look at our mold. So what I did was I took a butter mold, and this is my butter mold right down here. I'm going to take this, and we're going to take a look at the actual mold itself and see. Now you can see in there are 4 in there. So if I used a cup of oil or a cup of water, and I used a half of cup of infused oil, 12 ounces of gelatin or Jello, and 2 ounces of gelatin roughly comes out to a volume of about 2 cups. Okay. Now, 4 of these molds, 2 cups, that makes it half a cup per mold. Okay. Good thing to know, because you need to know that for, once again, your calculation stuff. Now, with these molds that comes with the Infuzium 420 machine, it has 8 little lines on there, so you know you can cut it into 8 sections. So now you can tell exactly how many hepicalories are in each section of that. When everything is said and done, when I'm done with everything, each one of these should have right about just over 200 hepicalories per piece. Myself, I range, my astronaut range is normally 300 to 400 hepicalories per time I take in. That's not a brag, that's not a boast. I actually wish it was not, because of the fact that it can get expensive. So I would prefer to have it much lower. So do take those breaks quite a bit to do that. Anyway, I hope you guys followed along. I know that I couldn't get too much into the actual of doing the spicy herb and whatnot, but if you have any questions, do me a favor, drop me a note in the comments section, and hey guys, do me a favor, take a look right up there. If you want your own online dispensary, hit me up, type yes, I do want, and I'll send you the information. Best investment I ever made. Yes, I own an online dispensary. So let me get you involved in Canaglobe. And if nothing else, take a look right there again. That's my online dispensary store web address. If nothing else, go hit it up, hit shop, and take a look at everything. See what you like. We've got all sorts of natural herbs in there. all sorts of different types of mushroom stuff like ashwagandha, lion's mane, all sorts of great stuff. So take a look and see what you think about it. And once again, if you're interested, love to have you as a business partner. So hit me up if you're interested, and I'll send you the information, and we'll chat. Anyway, a little bit of nothing from no one here in Arizona, guys. Love y'all. Bye-bye.